This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
Hello, you lovely people. Welcome to the podcast that you're listening to right now. This podcast, Another Happy Pod, the show where we try to keep things a little bit more positive as we discuss everything and everything in the realm of pop culture. My name is Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, Beth Taylor.
Woohoo! Here I am. Hello, everybody. How are you doing,
Welcome
Nathan?
to the multiverse. I'm okay. How are you, Beth?
Yes, I love being in the multiverse. I can't lie.
I like to think in another universe, this is Another Happy Pod. It was me and you who set it up instead of me and Lawrence. And
Oh yeah.
and this is the
100%.
better universe as well. This is the one where like everything like really futuristic, and
Yeah,
like
this is the 838 universe.
Exactly. You know that meme like society if, and then it's just like a
Yeah.
society if Beth was the host of Another Happy Pod, and
it's just like pure blissful, like serenity,
Exactly.
peace. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I feel that.
Anyway, what we're trying to say is fuck you, Lawrence. You're
Yeah,
dead
suck your
to
mum.
both of us. Suck your mum. I don't think that's ever been said.
No, sorry, Mary hasn't done anything to me.
No, yeah, leave Mary alone. We like Mary.
Yeah, but fuck Lawrence.
But fuck Lawrence. He's dead to us. No, he was supposed to be here, even though he hasn't seen what we're talking about. But he texted me like about 2 hours before the show, give or take, and said, "Oh, I'm doing something else. I forgot." So.
You know,
Great.
Lawrence, he's very professional.
He's a fucking moron. But
That's
yes,
why I'm here, because I'm professional.
you are professional, Beth, and you are here. And it's the week after Thor Ragnarok, and Love and Thunder, and you
Yeah.
always join us for a Marvel
Yes.
movie. So I assume that's what we're talking about today.
Well, Nathan, as we like to say, this is the multiverse.
Ooh,
And different things happen in the multiverse.
ooh,
And we are talking about different verses, I guess you would say.
how very strange.
Very strange indeed. You know, these things
Yes.
tend to happen.
Yes, these things are very strange.
You know, the world tends to be different
What
sometimes.
it tends to be upside down.
It does, and I feel like I've flipped upside down a little bit because, you know, I'm not used to being the secondary host. You know, I'm used to being a guest, but this feels natural. This feels like the correct multiverse to be in.
So what you're saying is you're running up that hill whilst a stranger thing is going on and everything's a little bit upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing Stranger Things.
Yes, we are, and I have something for you, Nathan. Before we dive right into it,
Okay.
I was a little bit reluctant, but I thought, you know, we've got to have a little bit of a Lawrence flair.
Oh,
you know.
no, this is...
No.
No.
No. So I've got a question for
Oh,
you,
for fuck's
Nathan.
sake, he snuck it in.
I've got a question for you. He did say that I could jazz it up and do whatever I want, but I'm not that creative, you know. I'm trying, but...
Right. Before you do that, I just need to say hello, welcome to Another Happy Question. Another Happy Question. Great, well done, Lawrence. You got it in, you dickhead.
Right.
Right.
So my question to you, Nathan, which is kind of basically just what Lawrence said, I'm taking it, but how long would you choose to live in the upside down if it meant that you could have 5 years of work?
Ooh, okay. All right, I'll give him that. That's quite a good question.
I thought it was as well. I was like, I don't think I could think of anything more interesting than that. I'll give him his dues.
So what we usually do, and we started this last week, so I say usually, but what we did last week is Lawrence asks the question, then we crack on with the show. We just do the pod, and then it gives me some time to think about it. You too, in this case, if you also want to answer it.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
at the end, we'll come back, we'll revisit, and we'll give our answers. All right.
I'm cool. I'm down with that.
All right. So, what a stranger thing indeed. Beth, Stranger Things. What are your thoughts?
Yes. I loved it. I think with Stranger Things, I don't know if this is obviously kind of a question as well as a statement, but I've recently watched season 1 to 3 as well. Just before, in between volume 1 and volume 2 of number 4, I revisited the old series because obviously I heard that the Duffer Brothers had pretty much planned this from the beginning, and I thought that was quite interesting. It'd be nice to see, it as a full piece, knowing that they've kind of had the beginning and the end laid out. Obviously, things change in between, but I think every season has just gotten better and better. Personally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you think season 2 is better than season 1, and season 3 is better than season 2, and season 4 better than all of them?
Yeah, personally, I just think they go, like, individually, they're really well. You could enjoy the seasons individually. Like, I really, I know some people will probably put season 2 below all of them, but I really liked it, like, from Will's performance, that side, like that aspect side of things.
I will give you that. Noah Schnapp, I think that's his name.
He is
incredible
fantastic.
In season 2. Yeah.
Rewatching and seeing them is like they're children. They're children, and they are phenomenal. And I just think, like, I was always a fan of Stranger Things 1 to 3. Like, I didn't have a bad thing to say about it. I wasn't one of those people. I didn't get the blanket with the lights on it. From season 1 with the alphabet. But I'd say, like, now I'm like, I actually get pretty gassed now with Stranger Things when I see something. Like, I like sharing the memes. Like, I'm a little bit more involved in it than I was before. Just because, like, I think revisiting it all, I don't know if you have yet, but revisiting it all as well made me appreciate it a lot more, and the storytelling. Since Game of Thrones, ignoring season 8, I don't think we've had a really good storytelling series, not seasons, series, if that makes sense.
I would agree, to be honest. I haven't rewatched it as of yet, and I really fucking should. I really do want to go back.
It.
Yeah, I really do want to go back. I think the trouble with Stranger Things, and maybe this is not necessarily the trouble with Stranger Things, but the trouble with Netflix, is that it all fucking drops at once, apart from, like, this last season. It usually all drops at once, and then you rush out, you go to watch it as quick as possible so you don't get spoiled, and then you spend, like, a day, 2 days, whatever, quickly watching it, and then that's it. And then, like, 3 years later, the next season comes out, and then you have to think, who the fuck is that guy? What's going on? And
that was one of the things that I felt, and that's why I kind of wanted to revisit it between volume 1 and 2, because obviously at first I kind of, like, I think, what is it, episode 1, it opens with Dr. Brenner. For a minute then I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He's so important. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I completely agree with you there. I think it was nice when I did rewatch it all, because I got to do it at my own pace, obviously now with no spoilers, I guess you could say. Like, I was doing it, I was watching it whilst I was cooking, eating. Sometimes I'd put it on in the morning whilst I'm getting ready for work. So it was just nice to have it in my own pace. But I agree that I think, like, I didn't watch volume 2 on the Friday when it dropped, even though I could have. I had the day off work. I was waiting to watch it with Chelsea. And basically, we didn't get to watch it till Saturday night, and I had to avoid Twitter both of those days. And that does kind of suck a little bit of, like, it kind of annoys me a little bit, because I'm like, I don't want to have to, go through and mute every single word and that sort of thing. Like, it's got its pros and cons, the binging format. I think I like what they did with season 4, splitting it into 2 volumes. That was quite nice. Like, the pros are, obviously, you get to see it all at once. Sometimes, like, the cliffhangers, you're like, oh, I want to see the next episode. So I get that. But then at the same time, the cons are, it doesn't get prolonged. The feeling... Since the Marvel stuff has come out on Disney Plus, I forgot what the feeling was like to have the excitement every week and thinking, the theories and what's going to happen next. So, like, it's got its pros and cons, like I said.
I think Netflix does kind of change their release model, because it is seems weird to say, but it is a little bit outdated now.
It
Like
is.
the binge model, it doesn't really work in a world where we're always online and always talking about things, because the conversation just ends so quickly. It gives you something to look forward to and something to
Yeah.
carry on talking about. Whereas, like, Stranger Things, like, personally, I think this was the best season of Stranger Things they've ever had. Season 4
Yeah.
was the best one so far. And it only ended, like, a little over a week ago. And already the conversation's starting to die down. Like,
Yeah.
it's still not as prevalent. Whereas if it was a week-to-week thing, I think that'd still be
Like,
ongoing.
do you know what? I would agree with you as well, because if you look at was it yesterday or the day before? I think they just released the Emmy nominations. I had a bit of a nose because I wanted to see if anything for like any of the Marvel stuff or whatever came up, and I was also intrigued about Stranger Things because I think Volume 2 might have been released a bit too late for the submission. So if we're just going off Volume 1, I still think there were some phenomenal performances, especially you'll agree with me, we'll touch on it more, but episode 4 with Sadie
Yeah.
Sink.
Absolutely.
And she hasn't been nominated for her
Was she not?
performance.
Oh.
No, she's
That's
been
a
nominated
shame.
for something else, but I was just a bit like, not even Millie Bobby Brown.
Has anyone been nominated from
No.
Stranger Things? No?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
No, not even Winona Ryder, David, whatever his name is,
David Harbour, yeah.
Yeah, no one.
That's a shame, because there are
Yeah.
some amazing performances in this season. Like you say, Sadie Sink has some really fucking amazing scenes.
Do you know? I think Lucas as well. I can't remember the guy's name, but even him. Like, I just think all of the kids have grown and have become like. None of them are bad actors. I don't think I can't fault anyone's performance on the show, even the smaller characters, the mums, the dads, I can't fault anyone, but I just think they've grown in a really good environment. They've got people like Winona Ryder, who's been doing it for years and, kind of guiding them. And I feel like they've got a good support system, and you can actually see that reflected because you can just see their relationship with each other.
Yeah, I am excited to see like the progression in like a much quicker time frame, I guess. Of the kids, but some phenomenal actors, even like actors in the show that you may not like. Like I think pretty much everyone fucking hated Jason, was it the guy in this series? But he's a great actor.
That was good though. But that's what I mean. He's one of those characters that you love to hate. Like he's an absolute prick, but that's because the actor makes you like. He's obviously doing such a good performance to make you feel
He's
to
doing
make
a
you
good
feel
job.
these things exactly. And that's a good character.
And a good character, yeah. Well, a terrible character, but a good character, yeah. But then, of course, there's fucking Jamie Campbell Bower as well as possibly the best villain the show has ever had.
He is phenomenal. His face, like you can just see the change, like how he was when you first see him, where he was like, "Hello, sleepyhead." Like you can see the softness in the face towards the end, where it just feels so much sharper, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Yeah, he's got a very, he's got a very unique face. Does Jamie Campbell Bower? You recognize him as soon as you see him. But the thing was, you don't.
He was in
recognize
Twilight.
Him. He is in Twilight. Yeah, he was in Harry Potter as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only like in a flashback sequence or some shit.
Okay.
And he was also in Sweeney Todd as well.
Oh, okay.
So he's been about. But yeah, that Vecna makeup though, it's fucking incredible. Like,
have you seen that video of him where he's obviously getting done up? Like, I think that in itself, actors need to get more props for sitting in those chairs for hours.
He was in it for like 7 hours or something, which
and
is just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because one thing I think the reason why certain films like Lord of the Rings, for example, even now you can watch it and it's not as cringe because obviously they try and use as much practical effects rather than all CGI. Do you know what I mean? It's able to age well because they use the two to complement each other, and I think it's really nice when I see a show that has like a character like Vecna and they actually and the actor is happy to also sit down for that period of time and make it actually come to life because it feels more realistic and I do
like
good.
I do like the pictures you see of just like Vecna with an iced coffee, like whilst
Yeah,
he's
on his phone or something.
Yeah, those are very fun. I do like that. But no, yeah, like I say, Vecna, I do think is the best villain, and I think there's a reason for that, though. Like the Demogorgons, Demodogs, whatever the fuck we've had before,
Yeah,
they're all good.
Demobats.
Demobats, yeah, they're all good, but they're also just kind of like mindless monsters.
They're just
This-
monsters, yeah.
Exactly. This is a
A
person.
villain.
This is
Yeah,
like
this is a
someone
villain.
with motivations and thoughts and feelings and all this stuff.
Yeah,
this is someone who can really.
This is the Thanos of Stranger Things. You know?
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, it really is probably the best. Well, no, I would say the best villain we've had, and
He said to the Demodogs and the Demogorgons, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
he did. But I feel like he's not the main villain though. Like, didn't they say like he's like the general or something? Like the
See, I don't know that. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because that's just reminded me. Because that confused me a little bit, because obviously I knew in Volume 1 we probably weren't going to get as many answers about the Upside Down, obviously, because
Yeah.
we learned that 11 had just sent him there. I knew we would probably get more answers in Volume 2.
yeah.
And it was quite nice. I liked that scene where you see him just like walking around, like you see it's like a barren wasteland in a
Yeah.
sense, with Demogorgons wandering around. And I asked myself a couple of questions in my head. One of them was, well, this doesn't look like Hawkins, so how did that happen?
Yep.
Two, I was like, why isn't he what's with are the Demogorgons kind of like the dinosaurs of this world? Were they always just kind of like, were they just living, like, I'd like to learn more about like where they came from, like were they always there, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then the other question that I asked myself was obviously that end bit where you see like the floating soil, I guess you could call it. Obviously it's indicated that he obviously controls it with his powers, and he shaped the mind flayer. But is that sand or soil a sentient being? Has that got control over Henry, or has Henry taken over this world? That's what I don't know.
I don't know. There's still a lot of questions up in the air. It's still kind of unclear as to whether 11 created this world or not. Like,
I don't think she did. I'm
Neither do
going
I.
with Dustin's theory, where it's kind of always been there, like
Yeah.
predates the dinosaurs, but we've just like the astral plane. It's always there, but you just don't know it.
yeah,
No?
yeah. No one has ever been able to tap into it before
Yeah.
until 11 came along. So we still don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also, it doesn't really say where Henry got his powers from. Like, he just had them as a kid, didn't he?
Yeah, it was like, it's kind of like he's patient zero in a sense in terms
Yeah.
of mutants, I guess you could say. And I think maybe I don't think we will learn about others. Maybe he was the first, genuinely. He was number one. And because of that, because obviously Dr. Brenner's a scientist, and you know what some scientists can be like, obviously blood samples, whatever, genetic mutation, I don't know. They would have figured that out. That's a simple answer that's a simple question that could be answered in terms of science. But I think that he was the first, and it's kind of just gotten a bit out of hand.
Oh, massively gone out of hand, really.
Yeah.
Considering where we end up at the end of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still things unanswered, and I think they said there's going to be one more season of
Yes.
Stranger
Season
Things
5 is
5.
the last one.
With rumour to be a bit of a time jump as well. So
Well, I've watched, I don't know if you've watched any interviews, but I watched a fairly long one. I can't remember who it was with, but it was like with some of the cast. It was like a 50-minute interview, but it was broken up, like different people, different questions, and obviously they had the Duffer Brothers on.
yeah,
Obviously they were talking about the show, the characters, the writing, and then they were talking about season 5. Obviously it's going to have a bit of a time jump, because obviously they kind of have to, because the children are growing,
yeah,
but they're not going to push it like they're kind of going to go as far as they can, but still, because there's not going to be that much time in between, because obviously the way season 4 was left, spoiler, is with a giant gaping hole in the middle of Hawkins.
Yeah.
So, you know, it can't be too far in the future because obviously shit's going to happen. But it's basically the way that they've said it is each season, which I thought was quite interesting, and you might be quite excited about this as well because it is the last season. We know it is the last season.
Yeah.
Is they've said every season 1 to 4 so far has kind of started where, you know, things start happening, then they get together, they defeat the evil, and then move on, and then the next season they then have to kind of come back together, you know, defeat the evil and then move on, sort of thing. Whereas season 5 is just like everyone's together. There's going to be there's no need for any build up. Basically, it's going to go straight into getting shit sorted, which I think is going to be quite fun. Actually, just getting straight down, having a whole season of just nitty gritty.
I kind of have an idea of how season 5 is not necessarily going to play out, but how it's going to, like, what a general sort of premise of it is going to be. Given, like, the way things ended off with... We're massively jumping ahead here. We've still got a lot to discuss. But
I know.
Given how things ended off, it kind of seems like the Upside Down is spilling out into the regular world, and it's kind of fucking it up. So what I think is that by the time season 5 rolls around, obviously that will have all progressed. The Upside Down will have done quite a lot of significant damage to the regular world, and Hawkins will kind of be like ground zero for this just fucked up kind of apocalyptic world, kind of like a Mad Max world that people are just living in, trying to survive with fucking Demi Gordons running around and shit. So I think it's going to be pretty off the scale in terms of, like, from where it was before, which I'm quite excited for, really.
Yeah, it's going to be nutty. It's going to be interesting to see how, because I think, is this the first time in a while that we've kind of got everyone in the same place?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, because, like, I don't think we, you know, I want to see, I don't know why, but random, like, I want to see Steve with Hopper and Joyce, like, you know, random stuff like that. It's just be nice to see that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the, as much as I love this season, one of the heartbreaking things is that you don't have the cast together for a lot of it.
I don't. Has Robin ever met Eleven?
I think so. Yeah, she would have been at the mall. I haven't watched season 3 since it came out, but was she not at the mall when the mind flayer was there?
Yeah, briefly. Yeah. Actually no, but they've never really hung out. Like, you know, Robin and Will have never met, and you know I know Will hasn't officially come out and said that he's gay, but you know, I like
thank you for bringing that up. He is gay. I don't know how anyone can deny it at this point.
I know. But that's what I mean. Like, you know, Robin and Will, maybe Robin could have, like, you know, like a big sister sense and, you know, kind of help Will navigate, you know, being gay in the 80s. Like, we haven't, like, those interactions we haven't seen. And I just think it'd be so nice because now we've got the opportunity with everyone being together. So
correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not wrong, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Will is gay and he's in love with Mike.
Well, no, it's massively clear, but I don't think he actually comes out and says.
No, he definitely hasn't come out. He definitely hasn't. They haven't explicitly said. He hasn't explicitly said the words "I am gay." But
yeah, that's what I mean.
Is.
But like he is. Yeah, no, you can see it clear as day. Like the conversation that he, like, bit of a spoiler, obviously we're jumping ahead, but the conversation he had with Jonathan in that pizza place or whatever, like that was just so heartwarming to see. And like, since like I say I've rewatched it, and you know, seeing season 2 again, and Will's been through some shit, man. That
dude
boy
is
needs
traumatized.
a hug.
Yeah.
I just, like, watching season 4, I just wanted to go through the screen and be like, Will, come here, man. Like, I got you. Like, it's all gonna be okay. Like, honestly.
What I did find funny, but also pretty fucking annoying and heartbreaking at the same time, is like when they're in the pizza truck and Will's just like, Mike, you're the hero, you're the heart of this team. Eleven loves you. Also, I love you, but I'm not saying that. And look, I can't be who I am, but you can be who you are. And then he just breaks down crying, and Mike's like, "Yeah, thanks, man."
Yeah, doesn't like. Oh no! Don't even like. He was crying. I was like, no, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, Mike, are you dumb? Your friend's crying right next to you. And do you know what? Another part as well was when obviously Mike's holding like Elle's in the freezer with her water bath thing that she does, and Mike's holding her hand, and he's saying all this positive shit to her, and he's saying, my life began when you came into my life. And it's like, bro, that's the day that Will went missing. You're saying the best day of your life was when your best mate went missing. Like, come on. Think before you speak.
What an absolute
Think
snake.
before you speak. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, Mike, you're not using your brain, bro.
Mike Wheeler is a fucking idiot, though. Everyone knows that. One thing I wanted to mention, I think, and I'm not alone in this. I'm certainly not alone in this, but I now have a new favorite character in Stranger Things. I fell in love, and then the Duffer Brothers gave me someone to love, and then very cruelly they took him away from me. In my opinion, I have the
same love.
In my opinion, the best character Stranger Things has had so far. Shout out to my king, Eddie Munson.
Yeah.
You were not long for this world, my friend.
Oh, he was like, talking about how all he does is run, and this time I didn't run, and it's like,
his death was fucking heartbreaking. Like, seriously, fucking heartbreaking.
I know, and it's like, especially because, you know, before that you get the scene where he's like rocking out with the guitar, which is just so cool, which Joseph Quinn actually did play, by the way, except the zoom in obviously close up, but yeah, it was, and then, you know, having the sickest time, like, you don't get to say every day that you played a fucking rock song in an ultimate dimension.
Also,
you know?
he went through some shit as well. Like, he was just trying to hang out with Chrissy. They would have made a great couple.
Bro!
And then fucking he had to see her die in the most horrific. My God, when I first saw that, I just wanted to scream at my TV.
Do you know what? It was the first bone crunch. I went, ooh. I was like, oh, that's a bit hard, you know, like, okay,
and then
I don't like that.
Going.
And then the next one went, and the next one went, and then the next, and then they zoomed in on Arise, and they went, pop, and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's horrific. It literally gives me chills right now just talking about it, because it's so gruesome.
But it was his performance though as well. You know, he's like, Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this, Chrissy. I was like, no, me neither. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's really good. He is really fucking good. Absolutely love the Master of Puppets scene where he's playing the guitar. It's so fucking good. And his relationship with Dustin as well. I really love that moment. I think it's in episode 7. Episode 8. The first one of volume 2. Yeah. Where he's just like, where he's telling Dustin to never change, and they're just having that little heartwarming moment. It was. I think that's when I knew. I was like, okay, you're gonna die. But
it was that as well. But also, like, I think I really started warming up to Eddie as well. Like, I liked him pretty much when he started having the conversation with Chrissy, and I was like, oh, this guy's actually all right. But the part where I was like, oh, I want him in it more was when they were in the Upside Down, and obviously he's like, him and Steve are kind of lagging behind, and they're kind of having that little bro talk.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, I love this. Like, you know, Steve hasn't had like not like, you know, the last guy mate that he had was that absolute douche, like back in season 1. Like, was, you know, and it's like, oh, that would have been, I know he's got Robin, but it would have been cool seeing Steve and Eddie, you know, being the big bros with Dustin. But
absolutely, but not long for the world. But hopefully, you know, by some miracle, who knows what could happen in season 5.
Well, spoiler, but 11 seems to be capable of much more than we thought she was. So.
Yeah, she did kind of bring Max back from the dead.
She did. Well, Max technically died because that's how his spell was able to work.
Vecna did kill her.
Yeah.
Like when the first bone cracked of Max, I fucking screamed.
And it was in slow motion, and Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was literally clutching my heart. I was like, this is absolutely horrendous. Like, oh, I can't tell you the feeling that I had. Oh, I'm thinking about it now. I'm just like, I'm thinking of Lucas's face when he's like looking up at her and shut. Oh my god.
Look, Paul Lucas is trying to fucking fight Jason at the same time,
Oh,
man. It's
when he
all kind of
when he
shit.
stepped on the recorder, I was like, "What are you doing, Unique?" Like, oh my god.
No Kate Bush to save the day. So yeah, Kate Bush must have be doing all right at the moment as well. She's probably earning a pretty penny right
Well,
now.
I have Radio 1 on at work, so obviously I hear the charts on a Friday, and I know for a couple, even though Harry Styles had come out with an album, I think she had 2 weeks #1 in the charts, and I think I
Oh wow.
saw 2 days ago for the actual Billboard Top 200, she's now got #1 and beat Harry
Jesus.
Styles. Yeah.
Here's a question for you. You might not know the answer, but the charts, are they done solely on sales, or do they take streaming into
Oh,
consideration
Barrett, I
now?
couldn't tell you. I don't. No, they take streaming into consideration now.
I thought they'd have to, because who's buying
Yeah.
music these days?
No one.
No. Who's just buying singles? Like,
It is, yeah. She's from which is like around the corner from me.
is she?
Yeah, you're gonna have to blank that out because I don't want people to know where I live. But yeah, around the corner.
I'll bleep that out. But shout out Kate Bush from the ends.
Yeah.
She's from
the
the ends.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's made a pretty, and it's a good song. Do you know what? Me and Chelsea dog sitting the other week. We have 3 dogs, and they're used to like a big family, so there's always someone there, or they're used to like TV background noise, whereas me and Chelsea are quite quiet.
Yeah.
And I come the first day, I was like, oh, I'll put the Alexa on for them. I'll play some music for them. I had 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to play. What would they like? And I was like, oh, I'll put on Kate Bush's album. So I had that just on in the background, and I was like, her music's actually all right, you know.
I don't think I know any of her other music, really. Shamefully saying that. Yeah, couldn't tell you any of her songs.
It's a bit of a vibe. If you enjoy the 80s synth, it's a bit of a vibe. Like, just put it on the background, quite cool.
Well, Running Up That Hill is certainly a bop. I do like that. So maybe I should check out some more. Oh my god!
Speaking of music, though, the use of music in this season. I think
even just the use of that one song, "Running Up That Hill," it's in obviously that big moment in episode 4, but it's also it's also kind of like a motif, like for it, like a really good moment that I love. In the last episode, there's kind of like this big, not necessarily an action sequence, but like a moment where, like, the whole team is rallying, even like at different points across the world, and you get a few notes you get like the bum 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 coming in and stuff. I think it's when like Hopper is fighting the Demogorgon in Russia, and Nancy's about to shoot. It's where everyone's getting ready to just fucking wreck shit, basically. And it's done so well. It's really well mixed together and stuff.
Well, do we want to talk about the build up then? What we thought about having like volume 1 and 2 separated? Like what your initial thoughts were after watching volume 1? What stood out for you?
I think
each volume?
as much as I love the series, I think my biggest criticism of it is the release model. Because I think it was a bit of a mistake to make volume 1, to make it so front loaded, really, to put like all but 2 episodes in volume 1 and then just 2 episodes in volume 2.
It was just all build up,
yeah, because and I know why they did it. They said they did it just because purely the VFX for the last 2 episodes weren't ready, and I think even when they released it still wasn't ready. Like, they put out a tweet that said, if you watch this straight away, there'll be some shit that doesn't look right, so maybe wait an hour or so, and then they'll update it or whatever. But I read a comment somewhere, I don't know where, I think it was on YouTube or Twitter or something, that said what they should have done was release it in 3 parts. Volume 1, the first 4 episodes. Volume 2.
End it on max.
Yeah, exactly. Volume 2, 5, 6, and 7, and then Volume 3, 8, and 9, the finale. Which I think would have worked much better, because it's more like
I would agree, and it would have given them more time. I appreciate them not, like, I know obviously it probably wasn't still 100% in their opinion, but I still appreciate them holding back on those 2 episodes, even for a little bit, just to make sure.
Yeah.
I'd rather TD companies do that than put out some crappy ass like
Yeah, absolutely.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I saw that and I thought, yeah, that's a much better. That would have given you like a more concise story, really, because it would have like given you like different parts of the story.
Yeah, because the way that Volume 1 ended, I mean, I pretty much liked all of the episodes. You know, I know some people were like, oh, the Russian storyline is boring. Get me back to so-and-so or
I
whatever.
love the Russian storyline. It was great.
Yeah, or even like the Californian one and stuff. I was like, I quite liked it because obviously they're all doing different things, but it's nice because it is going to all come together.
Exactly, yeah.
But obviously the way that episode 7 ended, with the whole, obviously, 11 in the Nina thing, with the memories and finding out, you know, that Henry's also one. Well, this ordinance is Henry, who's also one, who's also Vecna, who was also coincidentally put into the, like, it was a lot of information.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, why couldn't they? It's just 2 episodes. Why couldn't they just? Do you know what I mean?
It was a big info dump all at once, like just a big contextual
to the point where I was like, I want to know, like, why do I have to wait?
Yeah, it was a good reveal though. It was a good reveal to
phenomenal.
Yeah, to actually see Jamie Campbell Bower transform into Vecna as well.
And the scenes with Nancy in the house.
Yeah. Nancy's gone from strength to strength in this show as well, I think.
Oh, do you know what? I fucking like Natalie Dyer or Natalia. I can't remember which one it is, but I don't like how she is in season 1 because obviously she is Prancy Nancy, whatever. But she's grown. Like her character development, I think, is a little bit slept on because obviously everyone talks about Steve and Robin and stuff like that, but I think her character development is so slept on because she has become, like, I'm here for it. I love the boss-ass women who don't need no man, you know, like, they do whatever they want. When she dived into that water after Steve, I was like, yeah, you go, girl.
You go, girl.
You show the Upside Down who's boss. No one's touching your friends. No one's touching your man. Like, you go. You fucking get him.
And she does, well. She's fucking there firing off shotgun rounds into Vecna's face, man. She's taking no shit.
Fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of Nancy not needing any man, which man do you prefer with Nancy? Because there is a little bit of a love triangle forming.
Steve.
Yeah,
and
I do too.
Do you know what? Like, because I saw so many people, right, saying online that no, Stancy was never good, Jancy all the way. Like,
yeah, but
he was
a prick in season 1, though. He's
no,
grown
but
now.
this is the thing. When you rewatch it, Nathan, you'll see this. Because do you know what? That was one of the reasons that made me rewatch it. I was like, I love Steve and Nancy, and I want to go back and see, was Steve really that much of a prick? Because if he was, then fair enough. Yeah, my girl Nancy deserves better. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, I want to see if this is true. And yeah, he was a bit of a dick at the beginning, but he was actually always really respectful for Nancy. And then he learned, he apologised, turned up at the house with fucking roses where where obviously Nancy and Jonathan were waiting for the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Went to leave and then was like, no, do you know what? Went back in and pretty much saved their asses. I was like, no, do you know what? Steve has always been like, do you know what? He was a teenage. He was in school.
Yeah, he was a teenage boy. Yeah.
These guys were kids as well, and they've grown up a lot. And Steve, and it's season 2 can't fault him. Season 3 can't fault him, and then in this season can't fucking fault him. And comparing Stancy to Jancy, like seeing how they got to, like, technically they cheated. And then he's lying to her about this college thing.
Who cheated? Who cheated?
Well, I don't know if Steve and Nancy were together, but you know when they slept together and they shouldn't have when they were at Murray's?
Oh, in season 3? Oh.
No, season 2.
In season 2?
No.
Wait.
It was one of the... It was early. It was early.
This is why I need to rewatch it, because...
It was... No, yeah. It was just... Yeah, you do need to rewatch it, because, like, I was really, just Jancy isn't it for me.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
And I like Jonathan. Jonathan's a great character. Any moment where John and Will refer to Elle as their sister warms my heart so much. It's a beautiful moment, and I do like Jonathan.
Like, we're family.
Exactly.
Yeah. But he's gone through a lot as well, because I know Will obviously went missing, but, like, if I was Jonathan, like, my siblings, anything like God, I don't blame him for smoking weed in California
Yeah.
after the shit that he's been through.
But they're
So
also
I don't-
lying to well, not necessarily to each other. He's more
Yeah.
lying to her about the whole college
But I
thing
just-
and everything.
Yeah,
so...
but I don't think he's a bad person. I just
He's
don't
not.
think they're right for each
Yeah,
other. I think Steve and Nancy have a lot more chemistry with each other. They've also got history as well, and I just think they've their relationship in season 1. He actually was besotted with her.
Yeah.
So I like them. I prefer them, and I want Jonathan to find someone who's good for him. But I just don't think I think they're better as friends, like they were in season 1 and season 2.
Everyone's kind of... This just makes it even more fucking tragic, because whilst you were saying all that, I just kind of thought about all the couples of the show, and like literally everyone has someone, because there's Nancy and Jonathan / Steven. There's Robin and her lesbian girlfriend, maybe, who's coming
Vicky.
up. Vicky. There's Mike and Elle. There's Max and Lucas. There's Dustin and Susie. Glad she came back. Shout out to her.
Yes.
and then there's just Will, which kind of just breaks my heart now that I think about that.
I see everyone like, oh, Mike and Will, but like I wouldn't even want Will to get with Mike.
No.
Like I don't want that. I want Will to find someone.
Mike
that's
needs
just
to
gonna
find...
love him
Yeah.
for Liv.
Will needs to find a nice guy for himself, someone who will love him, because
Yeah.
you know what, Mike's a fucking idiot anyway. He doesn't even know what day it is half the time. So
Oh, honestly, yeah, no. I just think I like. Oh, speaking of relationships, Joyce and Hopper.
oh my god, yes, I forgot Joyce and Hopper as well.
Their little family coming back together.
Amazing.
Obviously, Joyce referring to the fact that she has 3 children at home as
Yeah.
well. Like, it's just so. Joyce is the best TV mum. Ever.
She's so great. Winona Ryder fucking kills it every time in the show.
Oh, yeah.
She can do no wrong at all. And I love how fucking determined she is. Like, even if there is just a sliver of a chance that Hopper's alive, she's like, no, we're fucking doing it. We're going. We're gonna get him. Because
But that's just who she is, because
Yeah.
throw back to season 1. She was like, no, my boy's alive. Like, I'm telling you now.
she was shown an identical corpse of her son, and she was like, that's not my boy.
Nah.
That's not him.
Yeah.
Like, fucking...
She is the best on-screen mother that has ever graced, fictional TV. Like she, but not even just for her own kids, for all the kids.
Exactly,
she's-
yeah.
I don't think we've ever come across a parental role. Even Hopper, who's technically no one's dad, like the way he took Elle under his wing, like
There are only 2 great mums in this show, and they are Joyce Byers and Steve Harrington, and I will not be okay. They're both great.
yeah. Stephen is what 6 children,
6 kids.
two
Yeah.
girls, the 4 boys. Yeah.
Poor Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
That's the thing though. I think the reason why the show has done so well
Yeah,
over the years is because of the relationships between
Absolutely.
all of the characters in the
Yeah.
show, and obviously it's amplified by obviously the cast. They casted it incredibly well, and it's just so nice seeing them progress and grow with each other. And I like that Joyce and Hopper were, I love a good slow burner
yeah,
rom-com sort of thing.
yeah,
When-
absolutely.
like throwback to the Vampire Diaries when I was waiting for Damon and Elena to get together. I like the excitement, seeing, the looks with each other, the smiles, and especially, I love David Harbour and Winona Ryder as well. And they're just so good together. And it was just so nice that one scene in volume 2 where they're waiting in the warehouse, obviously, for the helicopter or whatever it is. And they're having that little chat, and obviously, they've probably got down and dirty, but just that little moment, I just loved it so much.
They didn't. They were gonna fuck, but then they got interrupted by the phone
Oh
call.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And everyone
Yeah.
everyone just went, for fuck's sake.
Literally. I was like, bro, they deserve this. They've been waiting for this
I
for
know.
so long.
Just let them bang, Duffer Brothers. I just want to
Yeah.
talk, okay? Just
My
let them do
homie almost died, bro. Let him smash.
it. Let my man smash. Oh, fucking hell. Alright, so you brought up a good point there about, the strength of this show being the characters and the relationships.
Yeah.
Now, I've been talking to Lawrence recently, and for some reason, even
He's
though he
so
watched the
cynical.
first 3 seasons of Stranger Things, he's now decided that he hates it and that he's not going to watch season 4.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Me neither. He's such a dickhead. But anyway, he was saying that because I was talking to him about it, and he was saying that he thinks the show would have been better if they did season 1 and then season 2 was just something completely different, like a completely different cast, like an anthology type of series following different kids and then a different monster. And what I said to him was, look, that could have worked. That could have been something good. But with this, we get to develop the characters. We get to see these storylines play out and see them grow over a number of years and stuff. And I think that, like you say, that is the real strength and heart of the show at the end of the day, which is why it's so popular, I think.
I disagree with Lawrence there. Fuck you, Lawrence.
Yeah, fuck you, Lawrence, you cunt.
But no, because for me, obviously, if, we're drama kids, film kids, whatever, we like to look at things as a whole. We don't just look at performances, we look at like the production as well. We have a lot of respect for like VFX artists, sound crews, like stuff like that. So, when I'm watching it, like I appreciate like the story's been phenomenal. Like some of the writing, like, they forgot Will's birthday. Again, justice for fucking Will.
I read about that. That's very funny.
But like the story as a whole, and I think it comes from I think it helps with the fact that they've pretty much had a beginning and end in mind from the start, which is why it's been able to gel so well. Like, I appreciate that aspect. I appreciate, how it looks, the visual effects. I appreciate the music choices that they go through, like, keeping it very time period. But I think, like I said, the one thing that I think holds it together more than anything is the relationships. I think you could probably just have one episode of the boys playing D&D together, and I think people would actually enjoy watching it.
100%.
I know I certainly would, and that just goes to show that it's not just about the story or how it looks or whatever, how enjoyable it is. But I think because we're so invested, that's what I like about why Marvel's been able to do so well, and like other TV series like The Vampire Diaries has been able to go on for 8 seasons, is because you get invested in these characters, you get invested in the relationships, and like I say, the cast have helped amplify that because they're all fantastic and they actually have a friendship on the outside, so that all works.
Yeah, absolutely. All makes it even more fucking genuine. Excuse me, I just need
fuck
to.
You, Lawrence.
Yeah, fuck you, Lawrence. I need to do just something quite important here. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
You probably won't answer.
Snake.
I'll leave my voicemail.
Hello.
Fuck you, Lawrence.
Fuck you, Lawrence.
I hung up the phone.
Oh. Let me know if he rings you back.
He won't do. But if he does, I'll answer. But he won't. But yeah, that's pretty much that's it, really. Like I say, I'm fucking absolutely gassed with season 4. It's been the best one so far, the best villain. Some great new characters who are introduced and then killed. Fuck you. But yeah.
I've got to ask, obviously, you'll probably agree with me, obviously, if you look at the Season 4 project as a whole, Volume 1 and 2, what would you say had the most impactful reaction from you? Like, is there a specific scene or a specific episode that sticks out for you?
Just got a message from Lawrence. He just said, "I see." Okay. So, I think the obvious one to go, not necessarily the obvious one, but a big one to go for is the end of episode 4. Because that was such a big moment.
I was like, run back!
Yeah, it was so fucking good, and I was scared that because there's like a pause that like when she gets out, you don't know she was get out. Not that I thought like they would have like ended the episode without you knowing if she got out or not, because there was kind of like a pause. They didn't. They did show you it, which was quite good.
It was like a perfectly like timed portion.
Yeah.
Not too long, not too short.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So that was a really impactful moment for me, though, just because, like I say, of how much I, not necessarily related, but how much I connected to the character of Eddie and how much I really just fucking grew to love him over the series. 2 moments. First of all, his death, where he's talking to Dustin, heartbreaking, and then when Dustin is talking to his uncle as well, with the guitar pick. Again, just a really fucking heartbreaking moment. Just salt in the wound at that point.
Yeah, I what I want for season 5 is to make sure that I have no reason as to why Steve wouldn't, but like someone to be there for Dustin, because that's going to be very, very traumatizing for him.
100%. Yeah,
like if you look at how Max has coped with Billy's death, like someone needs to be there for Dustin.
Remind us, Beth, of this fuckhead's question that he asked us.
Right, so the question from Lawrence was so to get 5 years off of work potentially, how long would you be willing to live in the Upside Down?
Okay, now the Upside Down is a fucking nightmarish hellscape, which I don't want to live there at all. I don't want to be there. How am I gonna eat? How am I gonna make food? How am I gonna do anything I need to do?
I'm gonna do a rogue Lawrence and tweak the question a little bit because, this is the multiverse. I'm gonna tweak it.
Yes.
And just put it a little bit more on the spot to you. Obviously, the human body can go 40 days without food, but obviously it needs water.
Not fucking mine, it can't.
If we're going by the typical, what they say, you can go 40 days without food, but obviously, you need to drink water. You can't go without water. So you get thrown into the Upside Down with a big 2-liter, the big 2-liter bottles?
I do.
You get a 2-liter bottle of Evian water.
Okay.
Yeah. And they say to you, if you make it out of here alive, right, because it's unpredictable, I'm not saying that it's going to be safe, you get 5 years with no working, but you still get a salary, but you have to stay here for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay.
Yeah. For 5 years off with pay.
5 years off with pay. No food.
Yeah.
No food.
But you've got a 2-liter bottle of water and you have to survive for 2 weeks.
Do I have any weapons?
Whatever you find in the Upside Down.
Okay. So
it's kind of like Hawkins. Just think of where you are now, but grotty.
All right. So I could go to like they suggest. I could go to a police station or something and find not that a police station in the UK has guns because we're not American.
You could do something. You could probably find some knives. You could probably get yourself a little chainsaw. You don't have access to everything because obviously you don't have access to everything in the Hawkins Upside Down.
Yes. Okay. All right. I would do it. I think 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a very shitty 2 weeks. But I think I could do it hey, I'll do anything for a day off work. Okay, so 5 fucking years of it. 5 years, mate. Sign me up. All right. I will.
Do you know what? I'm with you there. I'd actually do it because 2 weeks is long, and you are probably going to come out a bit crazy. But if you've got 5 years recovery, with pay for a couple of therapy sessions.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm laughing, mate. Yeah, no, I'll do that. I'll do that. Anyway, fuck you, Lawrence. Another happy question. Anyway, that's it. Thank you, Beth. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's been nice to be a host rather than a guest.
You've been a great host. You've been better than Lawrence, so you're absolutely welcome back anytime. I actually would like to have you back for more than just Marvel stuff. So if there's anything that you want to
chat about something different, and we'll chat obviously separately once you've rewatched it all, because I think you'll really enjoy it and you'll see that they have had this planned from the beginning.
Absolutely. All right, thank you. So next week, join me and that dickhead, whatever his fucking name is, we'll be talking about this. Get out!
getting my ass!
So there we go. That's going to be a lot of fun. Follow us on social media at Another Happy Pod. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We're on TikTok, but we don't do anything there. Maybe we should. What else does I say?
You've got a TikTok.
We do have a TikTok. I put one video up there, which was just like a dumb little meme, and then it got taken down for threats of violence. So there you go.
That is so jokes.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Thanks, TikTok.
I don't even have TikTok.
You don't have TikTok? You should get on TikTok, Beth. All the cool kids are on TikTok these days. Anyway, shout out to TikTok. Shout out to your mum. Rate us on iTunes. Shout out Baggy Bird. Shout out Mary Heisey. Shout out Tess Mackey. Shout out all our mums. Anyway, stay safe. Drive safe. Have a good night. Do whatever you do. Love you. Bye.
Do drugs, not pugs.
All right, do drugs, not pugs.